Throughout all the anime and manga I watched and read, I can say with confidence that the story of Real is high up there as one of the best ones, and it's one that I'll remember for many, many years to come. Written and illustrated by Inoue Takehiko, the same author that brought you Slam Dunk and Vagabond, to other incredible manga, he brings you Real. And Real is a story about wheelchair basketball. Yes, really. But how in the world did a story about wheelchair basketball of all things get so popular? Well, for one thing, the art is unquestionably great. Inoue Takehiko is known for his great art, as seen in Vagabond. But in this case, it's a story that elevates his manga to another level. What Real offers you is a look into the daily lives of disabled people and the struggles they face. And it gets dark, like really, really dark. To the point where I regret having laughed at the concept of a wheelchair basketball manga. The story follows the lives of three men, Nomiya Tomomi, Togawa Kiyoharu, and Takahashi Hisanobu. Each of these struggling with their environment, questioning their future and own self-worth. In this video, however, I wanted to focus on Takahashi in particular, as I find his story to be the most interesting. At the beginning of the story, he was a typical high school Chad. One that you've already seen many times in American teen movies. He was the captain of the high school basketball team, he had good grades, he was popular with the girls, he seemed to have it all. In his mind, he was a king, while everyone around him were merely peasants, low-ranked citizens that should feel honored to be around him. Until one day... While being chased down on a bike he stole, he got hit by a garbage truck, resulting in severe injury to his 7th vertebrae. In other words, Takahashi is now disabled from the chest downwards. At first he was in disbelief, thinking that he'd walk normally after a bit of rehabilitation and some surgeries. Like the other hurdles he faced before, he'll overcome this one with ease. He's the great Takahashi after all, someone who never studied but still got all A's. Someone, while not even being serious about it, became the school's basketball captain. He shouldn't be compared to normal people, but that delusional mindset didn't last long. After a while in the hospital, he tells his mom that he wants to see his dad again, who left him 8 years ago. After a long while in the hospital, he finally has something to look forward to. And after meeting him for the first time in 8 years, Takahashi is dumbfounded at what he sees. He sees an overweight, dirty, balding, middle-aged man wearing old sandals. In other words, he sees a bum. Someone who'd be E-ranked in his mind. After his father leaves, Takahashi loses it. He throws himself out of a window, and in a rage he starts stabbing his legs with a shard of broken glass. With each stab, the reality of his situation sets in more and more. He went from a king to someone who's as vulnerable as a child. In his mind, his life is ruined. He doesn't have a future anymore. Is his life really worth living if he drags everyone around him down? Of course, like everyone in this situation would think to themselves, he finds this unfair. Why did this happen to him? Surely there's a way to fix him, right? But there isn't. This isn't shonen. There is no magical surgery that'll fix him. This is real. 36 chapters in, we get to see a peek behind the sarcastic facade. As he confronts his father, tears running down his face. For the first time in the story, he expresses his true emotions, asking his father why he left them, shouting that it's too late for him to come back into their lives. He can't do anything anymore to make his father proud, not with this broken body of his. We find out that he only played basketball for that reason. And when his dad left, well, there wasn't much of a reason to keep playing, was there? He used to write letters to his dad when he was younger. We even get to read one of them, and it's honestly just heartbreaking. Through Real, Inoue Takehiko shows us the dark reality disabled people have to endure, and that this could happen to literally anyone. It could happen to a shodden loser, to a high school star, hell, even to a famous pro wrestler. In a flash, something that you take for granted can be snatched away from you. even when that something is your own body. But when the whole room is pitch black, even the smallest light shines brightly. We see how Takahashi grows as a person. He makes friends with people he'd consider lower than scum before. He re-establishes his relationship with his parents. He learns to live with his condition and moves forward instead of giving up. And eventually he finds his way back to basketball. Takahashi's story is just one of 3 simultaneously running storylines from Real, the other 2 being equally as compelling as this one. If you want to read Real, well, just a small heads up. Much like Vagabonds, Real has been on hiatus for the longest time, so it's uncertain if it will ever receive a proper ending. But even in 92 chapters, Real has secured a spot in my top 10. And it's not something that should be overlooked just because it's a manga about wheelchair basketball. Because it's so much more. I have been Ben Shad, and this was the dark reality of Real.